How's everyone doing tonight? So tonight I'm going to do a little video on these Sharp by Design knives. So about a week and a half ago, I did maybe a little longer. I did a Berg's blade video, and I just kind of talked about my Berg blades collection and what I liked about them. And tonight I figured I'd switch it up a little bit and talk about Sharp by Design. So these Sharp by Design knives are manufactured by the same manufacturer as Berg blades, and that's Riat. So the quality is similar, but I think probably these maybe, as far as some of the features and some of the effort, maybe just a slight step up. It's so close, to be honest. They're both really wonderful designers, and they use the same OEM, so it's pretty close. It's kind of a toss-up, but there's something special about these Sharp by Design knives. So the maker is Brian Nadeau. He's a USA designer, and he's been making custom knives for a long time, and these are his production variants. And I think you can tell that these were crafted by a knife maker. All the little details are sorted out. Everything functions really nice. And there's just that level of passion that you come to expect with a pocket knife in this price range. And he's just a step above some of the other designers, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So like I said, all these are manufactured by Riat. We'll start off with the Mini Tempest. This has been one of my favorite knives for quite a while. Beautiful 80s carbon camo. Nice hand rub satin blade. You got the nice flipper deployment with the reverse flick. You can reverse flick off that fuller. And this has a really nice plunge grind sharpening choil area. It's just a well thought out piece. Very ergonomic, contoured scales. Nice pocket clip, kind of a bolster design there. Comes super solid from the, just no blade play, left, down, upright, just locks up real nice. It's just a well-designed piece, and it's one of my favorite pocket knives. I'd say this and probably the Sweeney are up there probably, as far as which two I've carried the most, because I carried this one a lot last year. But it's just a well-designed knife, thin behind the edge. Jimping extends out to a reasonable range. Deployment methods are excellent. The detent on this one is a little bit lighter than the Apex or the Mini Evo. But I think they did that on purpose so you could reverse flick off that fuller. It's still a nice detent. It's just a little bit lighter, So if you like something that's in the medium range as far as detents, this would be a good option for you. It's a really nice piece, and that's the 80s carbon fiber. This is the Shipwreck. This is one that I've kept pretty pristine. I pretty much carry the 80s one, but it's the exact same knife. I got one as kind of a user and one as kind of a, I don't know, more of a special carry, kind of keep it nice piece. And this one's really pretty much like new. I did modify the pocket clip so it was, a little bit sharp around the edges. So that has all been knocked down. Functionally, these pocket clips on these Mini Tempests are excellent. They're placed in a good position. Well-designed knife. Deployment on them is really good. The inlays are super smooth. No, I've done reviews on these knives, but I just kind of wanted to go over just my collection of Sharp by Design knives, kind of why I've collected Sharp by Design knives. And, I think for the money, they're a pretty good value, actually. I know they're not cheap, but, you're getting contoured titanium, flawless inlay work. These two are S90V. This one is Damasteel, S90V, and then M390 on the Mini Tempest, or Mini Evo rather, sorry. we'll take a look at that next. This is the Mini Evo. Purple Haze fat carbon inlays. Just the crispiest breaking detent of probably any knife I own. This, you can reverse flick it off that fuller. You kind of got to dig in there a little bit, and it's not super intuitive, but it works. But as far as flipper knives go, this is the best that I have. And probably the best that I've ever felt, to be honest. It's just crisp, and it's perfectly tuned. So something special about this guy. Lock bar access I didn't talk about on all these knives is really good. Brian Nadeau designed this little, it's almost like a little chamfer here, and it makes for a really smooth and easy disengagement. The lock bar pressure on all these knives is, this is a little bit lighter, but it all is super comfortable to actuate. The size on this guy, I know the blade is 3.3 and the blade on the Mini Tempest is 3.5. So, they're all right around that Goldilocks zone, 3.5 on the apex as well. As far as EDC, they carry really well. None of them are really thick or cumbersome in the pocket. This clip is also excellent. Like I said, I did modify all the clips on these, actually, just because these come with like sharp edges for some reason. So took care of that, and now that they're just wonderful carry knives. You got the Brian Nadeau logo on the flipper tab there. Just great action. A skiffed, all of them have skiffs, and all of them are perfectly centered with the skiffs. Which sometimes when you throw skiffs in it, it throws it off a little bit, but these have all been really good. All these handles are titanium, all contoured, and just done to a really high level. The lockup on every one of these is solid. And the grinds are excellent. You got hand rub. This is the Apex with a satin finish on that blade. And the deployment method on this one is excellent too. You got the reverse flick. Just the best reverse flicker. Nice flipper tab. This has a little bit more of the lock bar exposed than the other ones. So you can put a little pressure on that if you're not careful. But I don't have any problems deploying this knife. I can do it left-handed, right-handed. I say that and I mess it up, of course. But it's a good one. The PVD, aluminum inlay, also perfectly done. Nice. I kind of like the cutouts on the Apex. This knife has always been one of my favorites. The pocket clip, I modified this one as well. It rides a little high on the spine, but for a right-handed carry, it presents no issues whatsoever for me personally. Your mileage may vary. But yeah, it's a good one. This is the Apex, Sharp by Design Apex. And this is kind of the grail of my Sharp by Design knife collection. This is the Tanto Damasteel Apex. Just a beautiful blade. Wonderful grind. You got a hollow, flat, same great reverse flicking action. Skiff this one as well. Clips modded. It's kind of a necessity on the Apex just because of where it's located. The stock clip is really sharp, so knocked down, smooth as silk now. And running really nice on those skiff bearings. So he's probably, I want to say Brian Nadeau is probably, one of my favorite, if not my favorite designers, USA designers. He's using a Chinese OEM, but to get the knives this level of quality, that's pretty much, unless you wanted to buy one of his customs, that's the only way you're going to get a hold of one of his. And his customs go for, thousands of dollars in some cases. So, that's above my price range. And these, like I said, aren't cheap, but I went ahead and pulled the trigger on these, I can always resell these if needed. They hold their value relatively well, especially if they're well cared for. And I generally take care of them, I've dropped this guy a couple times, unfortunately, but the rest of them are pretty pristine. The action on these, like I said, it's incredible. This one, especially when you close it, it's just... It's unlike pretty much any other knife I have. It's like the weight of the blade closes it for you. And that's definitely synonymous with high quality. You know, this one feels exactly the same. It's just a wonderful blade. These were a little bit more expensive than the other ones. I'm not really sure why, but they are really nice. Pop all these guys open for you guys. All of them are relatively lightweight. You know, I think every single one of them's under 4 ounces. All of them are really nice to carry. They're just great EDCs. You know, and you can still get these. You can still get the Apexes. They're listed on quite a few different websites still. This one you can still get like on Arizona Customs. These guys are a little harder to find. Blade Binge, I've seen quite a few of them on Blade Binge, the Mini Tempest. And like I said, they hold their value pretty well, but you can get them for, you know, maybe $50, $75 discount if they're in pretty nice condition. So new, they were over $400. So, you know, if you can get it in the secondary and you can get it in like new condition, why not? You know, the only thing is if you have an issue with it, you could probably send it to Sharp by Design to have it corrected, but you can't send it like back to River's Edge Cutlery or Blade HQ and do a return that way. That's the only thing about buying a used knife that you could potentially have an issue with, you know, is you don't have that safety net of, hey, I can just send this back to where I got it from if it develops, you know, lock rock or, you know, some significant blade play or, you know, some issue. So I bought this one on the secondary market. The rest of them I've bought pretty much from retailers. So, but I've been really happy with these guys. I just kind of wanted to share this video with you guys and talk a little bit about probably my favorite maker / manufacturer OEM combo. They got to be up there. It's either my favorite or my tied for my favorite, one of the two. Yeah. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and leave a like if you liked it. All these knives are highly recommendable. I did have to modify the Apex a little bit to get it, you know, just the way I wanted it, but it's a wonderful carry as it sits right now. So been pretty happy with that one. As far as like what I would recommend for pretty much most people, it might be the Mini Evo. You know, this comes right out of the box perfect. Some of the best action you cannot fail this knife. Like, there's no failing it. The detent is so perfect. Oh, I didn't talk about the detent. So all the detent on these knives are the Brian Nadeau nub. So it's not a detent ball. It's like a steel ramp in there. And it just gives, when you break the lock, there's no double clutch. So it comes right off of that. And it's smooth all the way down. So that's wonderful. And as far as the action, just clicks. There's a click, click. It's unlike any other knife that I've tried. I will say that. And it's unique to Sharp by Design. And it's another one of the reasons why I've been drawn to his knives and collected his knives over the years. So, well, I'm going to cut this video. It's getting kind of long. Just wanted to share this with you guys. Again, my Sharp by Design collection, all recommendable. Wonderful blades. Wonderful blades. Thanks, everybody, again. Y'all have a wonderful night out there. Take care.